What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm going to break down this episode on two parts, okay? I had a great conversation with Instructora Faisca and Professor Albatroz about music, some tips about how to sing, how to create some lyrics, and there's a really cool information about music. So make sure you listen to this, and before you head back to the episode, please, the only thing I ask in return is just for you to leave us a review on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. I really appreciate if you guys or any of you listening to this, leave me a really cool review there or follow the podcast. I'm trying to pump the podcast a little bit on a better ranking. So please help me out. The only thing I'm asking favor is just for you to follow or share this episode or help me to grow this amazing platform. Okay, so enjoying the first part and check it out. Okay, peace. What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for coming back and listening and learning from all capoeiristas and supporting the capoeira community. That's the best part, and then that's why we're growing so much and then so fast right now, especially with internet and all the connections. And then speaking about internet, I'm so happy these connections. We're so far with this interview right now, but far and close at the same time, which is really cool to get connection with old friends and new friends. And then I guess we're just friends, right? But today I have two special guests, really amazing capoeiristas. And then especially when it comes with capoeira music, it's just like it's a big inspiration for me, because it's just like I have that connection with the capoeira music, since even I never play music of any kind until I start playing capoeira, and I fall in love. One of the first things I fall in love with capoeira was the capoeira music, especially the berimbau. So today I have this amazing guest. They are very knowledgeable in capoeira music, and with us we have Instructora Faisca and Professor Albatroz. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks so much
Nice.
for having us.
Of course, super happy to have you guys here, and then
Thank you, man.
To see you guys.
Great pleasure being here.
Yes, the pleasure is mine. So it's really good to squeeze your brains a little bit, and then share this with the capoeira community. I think is we grow together. And then just to get started on the conversation for the capoeira topic, before we jump at that, what are your social media, so everybody can find you, and whoever's listening to this, make sure you follow there. And Faisca, which is yours?
All right. So if you want to follow me on social media, you can go to Instagram, julia.faisca.
Nice. Albatroz, what you got in there?
Yeah, mine is the same on Instagram, Albatroz GCB. That's it.
Nice. Easy. Man, you're gonna find a lot of inspiration, because Faisca, we just talking about how much she trains, and it's really cool, and then that's very motivating. And Albatroz always posting about capoeira events and everything capoeira related.
Music too. He posts a lot of stuff about music. It's cool to follow.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And that's why I brought you guys here, so that way you guys can share a little bit your knowledge. So now that we talk a little about the social media, and then music is a really important topic for us, and then it's a little tricky for the English speakers to kind of like get the vocabulary on the Portuguese, because it's kind of like a mix of Spanish, Portuguese, and then it gets a little bit confusing there. So how to, or you guys tips on how to learn especially the rhythm, getting started on the rhythm, the timing of the music is so important. And then what do you guys think about tips? Ladies first. Faisca, what do you think?
Actually, the reason why I'm here is to hear Professor Albatroz answer to this.
Oh, cool. Oh, nice. See,
I'm here to learn.
nice. That's so cool. See, that's why I love these kind of stuff, because we learn from each other. That's pretty cool. Albatroz, what
I
do you
was so happy. I was so happy with the ladies' first thing, but now,
think?
now I'm on the spotlight. Well, I'm kidding. Well, it's I guess it's a very personal thing. Dealing with rhythm and lyrics at the same time, and also the Portuguese language. I guess it comes to a personal thing that it depends on um, how much time you get to dedicate for that. Because, for example, so many times I've traveled. I've been to I guess 6 countries, and it's funny when I stay at Capoeiristas' place, their homes. I always see books in Portuguese. That's
Oh, cool.
something that calls my attention. The fact that people are reading in Portuguese, because
So cool.
I don't know if Faisca knows about that, but I've spoken to you already. But I'm an English teacher, and to me, learning a second language has to do with being in touch with this language in all senses.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess that, for example, some capoeiristas they focus too much on the lyrics itself, capoeira songs, and that's it. Period.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things that could help. For example, reading I don't know, some biographies from masters in Portuguese, because there will be vocabulary there that will help them,
100%.
somehow have a better command of language. Reading about capoeira's history, the culture, even about Brazil. I don't know, why not? We were just talking about this before the podcast has just started. We're talking about the difference between capoeira in São Paulo, the capital, and capoeira in the countryside.
Yeah.
So why not reading about it?
Yeah. I
And
like it.
obviously, for example, the kind of songs that you are into. Example, if you are more into old school songs, you will probably get across some more difficult vocabulary that probably you won't be able to understand,
Yeah,
because they
that's
are
good.
older songs.
Yeah.
And nowadays, there are other songs being composed, and depending on who wrote that, if this person comes from São Paulo, if this person comes from the Northeast or from Paraná, there will be like some regional vocabulary over there.
Huh.
So, for example, that famous song that was I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago, by Contramestre Monkey. Aqui é minha casa, minha varanda, meu dendê. Aqui
Yeah.
é minha casa, minha varanda, meu dendê. Meu chapéu de palha, minha maçapê. So you see, there is vocabulary. Let's call it like current vocabulary,
Yeah.
and there are things that you can learn from the past. For example, what is maçapê and what is the connection with the chapéu de palha? So I guess that it all depends on the kind of songs that you're into. My piece of advice would be always having a dictionary with you, and talking to your masters or talking to your professores, people who will be able to help you out with the meaning of the vocabulary, not only the pronunciation. Because
Yeah.
again, to me, it's not only about pronunciation. Like, okay, I know how to pronounce chapéu de palha, but what's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I'll be singing something that it has to be meaningful for me.
For sure.
So I'll say about my song. We spoke about this. I wrote a song which is called Minha Bagagem. Why did I write that? Because I wanted people to understand the meaning of the word bagagem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the song explains itself. All the lines that I wrote, they're talking about what bagagem means to capoeiristas. So it's basically this. Like, you got to have a connection with that.
Nice.
So if there's no connection to what you're singing, if you're just singing for the sake of singing, then it's not meaningful. It's not
Yeah.
going to make sense to you, because let's talk about energy. Like,
Yeah.
for example, when you said that you were driven by the berimbau, that's it. So if I want to sing a song, this song has to be meaningful for me. If there's no meaning for me, why am I singing?
Yeah.
My energy, okay, I'm not gonna reach people.
Yeah.
You know? And obviously there are other tips, for example, songs, words that they pop up in other songs. So I just saw, I told you guys about the Chapéu de Palha. Think about how many songs you're gonna listen to the word chapéu
Chapéu,
or
yeah.
palha or
Yeah.
palha. What you know? Como vai você? There are
Yeah.
variations. There are variations of como vai você. Dona Maria, como vai você? Vai você, vai você. And there's another word. There's another way of singing, like como vai você. That's another kind, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I missed the point.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'd
You
love
said
to add a little bit to all of that. I think that there's also just people who come at various different levels. I just have such a profound admiration for people who invest so much time to learn a different language. I think it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I learned languages very, very young. So by the age of 7, I already spoke Portuguese, Spanish, and English, but it's because I lived in different cultures. So
Yeah.
I was immersed. And so I
Yeah.
really feel like the ability to speak languages today is a gift that I have. And so when I see people dedicating themselves so intently to speak English so well, to speak Portuguese so well, I think that that's incredible and incredible hard work. And I remember whenever I moved to Mexico City with my family when I was 7 years old, and then we moved back to the States when I was 12. And I remember I started to lose some of my Spanish, and I was kind of panicking. I
Yeah.
didn't want to lose my Spanish.
Yeah.
I was only 12 years old, and I was like, man, I started to feel like my tongue was getting stuck because
Yeah.
like your languages is a muscular memory of your tongue. That's why
100%.
people
Yeah.
have accents sometimes. It's because you
Definitely.
don't
Mhm.
develop that strength in your tongue. And so in order to keep my Mexican accent, I got a book in Spanish, and I would just lay in bed at night, and for 10 or 15 minutes, I would read that book out loud.
That's
So I
so
was
cool.
reading the book,
Yeah.
to the mice, and then I would go to sleep. And then what happens is just like weightlifting, you
Yeah.
put your tongue through that exercise. And I feel like sometimes at the Roda or at an event or training with your homies, it's a little bit like intense. Like, aqui a minha casa, minha varanda, meu dente.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna like iron out your Portuguese by
Yeah.
like going hard at the event. You need to go home and grab some of your favorite songs, or maybe grab a book. You know, I think Professor here gave a bunch of great ideas how you can dive into more knowledge
Yeah.
and make it fun, but take some time to slow down and read those phrases slowly in Portuguese on your own. You can even, like, I've sent audios to friends before, like slowing down lyrics so that they can hear the exact pronunciation, and
Yeah.
they would repeat and repeat those audios until they were able to get it. And so
Be
for me,
articulated with the words and learn to
Mhm.
articulate. Yeah.
like exaggerate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like you're forcing those muscles to go into like a different place. So I think there's kind of like a lot of layers, but I wanted to introduce like a very introductory, like beginner level of something you can do today to start feeling like your pronunciation is getting more clear.
Nice. Well, what I used to do, and I always tell my students, what I used to do when I was learning Portuguese, I used to look on YouTube Brazilian commercials because they are so exaggerated, and then they like very, very articulated, and the accent, the Brazilian accent is so like strong, and then
You
it's
know
just
why I just laughed?
yeah.
Me and my Brazilian cousins, we would sit in front of the TV over the summers, and we would wait for the Parmalat commercial to come back and memorize the lyrics. Parmalat pra você, faz ficar mais forte. Olha meu bigode, aproveita, eu tomo leite. Saboroso, pronto pra tomar Parmalat.
Nice. Oh, see,
And you see,
that's so
even
funny.
the rhythm, it's like even the rhythm, you know, that's so funny because
Yeah.
it's a repetition. Repetition is, it's key.
Yeah,
So like
100%.
it's not a matter of just memorizing the words and articulating them better, but learning how to put them in a certain pace, And it's funny, just complimenting what Faisca said about the things of people, the way that they speed up the process. I guess this has also to do with the way that people have been playing nowadays, because it's like the society that we live in, and it's always really fast. So like São Bento Grande da Regional, people, then it's difficult to sing. So if you want to start learning how to sing better, how to I don't know, convey your ideas better, let's say, why don't you start from Banguela then? Because Banguela, you're gonna try to go for a different pace, and then even you can feel, and then you speed up.
Nice.
So it's I've been doing this with my students, playing the berimbau. I teach my students how to play the berimbau. First talk is Banguela, and because then they start singing, and then I switch to São Bento Grande da Regional, because I guess they're better prepared to speed up. I don't know. It's just my own method. I'm not saying that it's better or not, but it's the way that I've been doing, and I guess it's been profitable somehow.
Well, you teach them how to walk, and then teach them how to like run, and
exactly.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Nice.
Yeah, I have a huge tendency of like just going too fast. That's why whenever actually she asked about rhythm, I was like, working on rhythm. Like I have not completely figured it out. I think it's really easy for me to like start playing and then accelerate and just get super fast without even noticing it.
That's crazy.
And so there's kind of like two approaches that I've taken. I'm very methodical. So I'll use a metronome, and I'll just
cool.
put a metronome sound in my ear. A metronome is that sound that goes tuck, 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 or beep, beep, beep. And then your accelerator or slow it down. And so I choose a speed and I start playing just at that speed. It's incredible how many times I'll go too fast or too slow. Like I almost like have to force myself to train a certain speed so that I can keep in that consistent rhythm. Now, I train with Chicoche, who's just a buddy of mine who we train capoeira. He's way better at music than me. And he's just like, Julia, you're too methodical. Like, just feel it in your heart, feel it in your body. And I'm like,
that's so funny. That's so funny. Because I tell my students too, because sometimes my students like, when they try to play berimbau, and then they are like, do I enter, like, do I sing this song in the first one, the third one, and then it's like, I don't know, dude, you just like hear it.
Does anyone have an answer for that, by the way? Because like I'm all ears.
Oh really? That's so funny. Because that's how I learned. Because I in Venezuela, we learn how to dance salsa by listening to music. And sometimes my parents, they just like grab me and you just listen to the music. And then this is how you step, and see this is and then you listen, and pa 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 pa, and then that's where you step, and then you follow those, just like step on that noise, and then like okay, and then you learn how, and then just it's like same way I learned how to play berimbau, and then how to sing too, and then I'm trying to be methodological because everybody learns different ways, and then so I can be able to teach that part. But it's harder because I learned on a different way. I learned how Chicoche told you. It was like, because I learned with the ear, and then you just learn how to use your ear on the timing. Because also there's capoeira music where they start on different timings, and then they tell sometimes, oh, see, oh, where did I enter? Did I enter and then don and then din and then chiado? And it's like, I don't know, man. Just try to match here, and then I listen, play the video, and I'll tell you when, and then try to be on that part. But I want to learn that section too. What do you guys think? For the
rhythm? I guess that again, it also depends on what your group has been doing. So, for example, like if you belong to a group that is more inclined to Angola, there's one answer. If you belong to a group that is more inclined to Regional, there's another answer. If you're playing Banguela, one answer. São Bento Grande da Regional, another answer. Subindo Grande de Angola, another answer.
Yeah.
I guess that the problem is like beginners, they want one answer that will be used forever. Like it's a script, I'll follow this for all songs, for all instruments, because there's also this. One thing is like when you start singing and you are holding the berimbau. Another thing is when you're playing the atabaque. So where do I start? Like it's can I start when I'm doing the repique? You know, of course you can. If you're able to, of course you can. But I guess so. What I think is it all depends. There's no right or wrong answer, in a sense that, okay, I'll be using this forever and that's it. I guess it's a mix of what Faisca said, like being so methodical and trying to come up with the pace, whether by using something in your ears or using your steps. For example, Mestre Negativo, he came to Jundiaí once and he did something really interesting with us, which is like you're singing standing and you're going like with your steps, you're stepping on the floor, like doom, doom.
I Aritana did that once.
Yeah, so when you raise your knee, it's the time that you start singing, and then you go.
Wow.
So you're using this connection with your body to sing. But this doesn't apply to like the practice, because when you're singing in the roda, if you're sitting, how are you gonna do this? You know? But it's a way of practicing. It's a way of practicing. So it helps people getting the dun, 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 you know, this thing.
Yeah.
When I went to Minas Gerais to record the album, we needed to use that in the my goodness, that's so annoying. What Faisca said, it's so annoying. I could not focus. Oh my God,
why?
turn it off.
Oh, the metronome?
Yeah,
oh really?
God, I hated that. But it you know, it varies if you're methodical, if you can adapt to that. But all in all, when you are like training, let's say in the Roda with your students and stuff, I guess that there must be an answer, in a sense that, okay, you will make it easier for people to, okay, this is the moment that you jump in. But there's also the thing of, okay, let your mind go, let your heart go, let your body flow with the energy. So it's
that's
this
the part
connection.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Is the more letting go. Like I'm too methodical. And I think that's what's cool about understanding your learning styles. You're like, okay, am I too much feeling, too methodical? And it goes for singing too. Like you can be too methodical for singing, and you can be too emotional for singing. And it's really like, it's a path in between the both.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then what that workshop you were talking about Albatroz, it's just pretty much the metronome. It's just like you doing the metronome.
Exactly.
And then you just like feeling the metronome with the steps, and then that way you can set the timing and learn how to get into the timing.
And it's funny because you can use this for playing the berimbau as well. This thing of going like pa pa pa.
Yeah.
Pa. You know, nice. The din is when you go backwards.
Yeah.
And the same thing when you're singing. So you go, aqui é minha casa, minha varanda, meu dendê. You finish when you're going backwards. Man, I love that. When Mestre Negativo did that with us, I loved it. So it's always interesting to get to talk to other people. So, you know, try different methods, and maybe you find yours, you know? So that's why I told you it's very personal. It's not an easy thing. For example, you're dealing with your group. My group, I got a group with 18 students. Man, it's difficult dealing with 18 different people. Some of them are very talented. Some of them are very methodical. Some of them, like, they just started practicing capoeira. So,
or no rhythm at all.
And it's cool because we're no musicians. I'm no musician. I'm a capoeirista. I'm not a cantor. I'm a cantador. I always tell people I'm not a cantor. I'm a cantador. Cantador de capoeira. Cantador da roda. That's what I am.
Nice. They say there's a key thing for like when you start singing and playing instruments and everything else in the Roda is the shyness. The first time I sing in the Roda, it was like nobody was there. We wasn't the Roda. We were practicing music. Two buddies of mine. We had a little triangle. We were playing instruments, and I was singing, and it was probably like 3 feet away from me, and he was like, "I can hear you, man. Can you sing louder?" And I was like, "I'm singing louder." No, you're not. And then that, because I was really shy, and then I thought I was singing really hard, but it was like I was singing inside. So what are you guys tips to overcome the shyness? That I guess it's just probably just doing it, right?
Go, Faisca, your turn.
Yeah.
I'm a very shy person.
This is a really great and a really important question, because I would say most people are shy about singing,
Yeah,
and most people won't get in touch with their voice if they don't overcome this shyness. So I don't know if I've told you guys this story, but in 2017, I had a hip surgery where they
oh,
had to reattach the cartilage back onto my hip.
oh, I
And
didn't
so
know
I
that.
couldn't train capoeira for a year. And so all I could do was really study music and figure out music. And I didn't sing,
Nice.
didn't play.
Yeah,
And so I bought a bunch of berimbaus. I would go to class and I would just play. And my friend Shikochi was very instrumental in my life, because he really challenged me to sing in the class. And
nice.
I was very shy. And he was like, Faisca, you have a voice, like sing. And he would
Yeah,
press me and he would press me. And I'd be like, oh, I'd be all shy. And because your voice will not project, it will not leave your body beautifully if you are tense and afraid. And the
yes,
thing is, in order for you to really convey like emotion and energy into a roda, you need to connect with your emotions and you need to expose those emotions. It's almost like opening your journal.
yeah,
And so that's why when we watch incredible singers sing, it moves us, because we're really getting a glimpse into their really raw emotions. And in order to do that, you have to have a lot of confidence, because
yeah,
you need to stand sure that the way that you sing and what you're projecting is beautiful and it's
yeah.
awesome. And it's this thing that you want to share with people. And so I was really shy. And I
Huh.
remember Shikochi was teaching a children's class for a while in another space. Like, it wasn't even in our academy. And he was like, Faisca, I want you to go and I want you to come sing to the children. And I was like, okay, eu fui
Cool. Yeah.
tocando no berimbau, and I played the berimbau and I was singing. And I learned this children's song that wasn't even that popular. I can't even remember it right now. But I like sang it with all my heart, and the children were all like hyped up.
Oh my
And
God,
they were,
nice.
and I was just like, yeah, like, and I probably did it like 2 or 3 times. And this is the tip, okay? The tip is sing to children.
Yeah, they won't judge you.
They're not judging you.
Yeah,
They are there to like vibe with you. They're curious and
yeah,
they are living people. So like
yeah,
getting like a real interaction of
yeah.
people hearing you sing. And that really prepared me to start singing in front of people more confidently, was just seeing how children reacted. And it almost felt like a safe environment for me to be vulnerable.
Huh. That's funny that you say about the kids, because my first Portuguese teacher was a kid. Because I one of my second trip to Brazil, I stayed with somebody that had a kid, and all I did there is just playing with the kid, asking questions. How do you do this? How do you call this? How do you say this? And then he was just like, "Oh, you just say it like this," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And then, but I like that like singing to kids. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I
I
think
never
a
thought
lot of
about that.
people will start like in their academies, they'll start singing like in a small circle with each other, but there's still kind of like this feeling of like, oh, what are they thinking? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of a lot of timidity to it still. I think one of the people I was the most shy to sing in front was my husband. Like
Yes.
I literally did not want him to hear me sing, because I just didn't think I had a good voice.
That's
But the truth
crazy.
is, my shyness was like keeping me from really getting in touch with my voice. And once I created this, you know, I really feel like God just provided the right people around my
Nice.
life to
Nice.
put me in touch with my voice. It's one of the biggest blessings. Like, it was something I desired so deeply. Like, I wanted to sing. Like, I know it sounds so cheesy. My sister's a singer. She's a beautiful singer. I've always heard her sing my whole life, and I just didn't think I was a singer.
That's so
And
funny.
so it was not something I believed for myself. And so it was something that I didn't even want to tell anybody that I wanted. So I wouldn't even tell my husband that I wanted to sing. I would just pray,
so
and
funny.
I would tell God, and I was like, God, I want to sing so bad. Let me sing.
Yeah.
Let me sing. And so, and then I got the hip injury and all these things happened, and I got in touch with my voice, and it's one of the things that I love the most today.
Yeah. So you I think you mentioned something very important, that was is the confident on the voice, because sometimes the first thing that passes through our head is gonna be like, people are gonna think that you just sing horrible, and then it's just that we feel insecure, and then it's like that insecurity inside is just like kicking and blocking us of, you never discover if you really have a amazing voice, and then can touch people in the Roda. And then I've been in Rodas where like I want to cry because the person is just like singing with such an emotion, because they get that connected with the emotion and then transmit that emotion, like Albatroz was saying.
There's something that I also would like to say, which is because we got our chords in capoeira. Somehow we are in this vibe that, okay, you gotta be a higher chord in order to be singing, and then beginners, they usually feel left aside because of that. They think that they should not be singing, or like, how am I gonna be leading a Roda if I'm a white belt, or in our group, right, a yellow belt, let's say. And I guess that it helps when you start encouraging people, regardless of their chords, regardless of their, like, how experienced they are. As I told you, I've got really talented people in my group that they are really into music, and some others that they, if it weren't for capoeira, they would never be singing.
That's true.
And it's funny because from the very beginning, people sing in the coro. The very first class, think about it. The very first class, we place people there. They do this and they start singing. We don't ask them, oh, how is your voice? Is your voice prepared for that? Are you tuned? Did you prepare? No. Do you know how to breathe? We don't ask anything. People just, they start singing. Okay. So my piece of advice would be, firstly, as instructores, professores, we should be encouraging people regardless of who they are. Okay. Who are you? I don't know. I don't care. You're going to be singing. Everybody should be singing. Everybody is responsible for the energy when you are singing. Okay. Second thing, one thing that helps me a lot, but again, I totally agree with Faisca when she says about the exposure and even the intimacy that you got with people, right? So, for example, she had a hard time singing for her husband. So imagine, for example, like professors singing to their students. It's a big deal, Okay, they are your students, but what if you make a mistake? And then we go very philosophical because it's like, okay, if I deal well with mistakes, but for instance, eye contact. I guess that eye contact is key when you're singing to anybody. So, for example, all right, you're holding the berimbau and you're singing. Usually we start looking at the berimbau because we want to be focused on the batidas. And then we start singing to the berimbau. And no, you should be watching people, watch their reactions. There will be people who are going to be like, they will be smiling at you. And when people smile at you, you're like, okay, you get more confident, they're smiling at you. So, I'm spreading good energy. Obviously, be prepared for no smiles if you're not doing well, people. But let's
change the song.
Maybe. That's it, because sometimes we are there, like we are leading, and there must be this connection with the audience, right? So, okay,
good point.
Eye contact. Eye contact. People, even if you should not be changing the song, like when you look at people and they're so like, keep singing that song. I remember there was a time in Chile, I was in my friend's Fernando Pestana's event, and Mestre Paulinho Sabiá was there. like all the brown chords and black chords were playing, including Mestre Paulinho, and I was in charge of singing. And I started singing Maracangalha, Maracangalha, and man, I was singing like this for 2 minutes. And then there was good energy. Imagine like all the brown belts and black belts playing. It was like there were good games. And then I looked at Mestre Paulinho, and Mestre Paulinho did this with his head, like, keep singing.
Nice.
Don't change the song.
Nice.
And I was about to change. So I looked at him and he did this, like, keep this.
Nice.
And I was like, my God. So I'll be
like,
singing this song forever. And then I did it. And like, I don't know how many minutes I kept singing like 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes.
So cool, man.
One song, because he felt there was a good energy, there was a good vibe, and the song was making people play well. So you see, if I hadn't looked at him, maybe I would have changed the song, and maybe so you see the thing about the eye contact. My master does something really interesting, which I like, and I wanted to suggest, which is like place somebody in the middle of the roda. Nobody's playing, okay? Nobody's playing. Place people, 1, 2, 3, 4 people in the middle of the roda. Close the roda a little bit. Sing and ask those people to be with their eyes closed. When you stop singing, ask them how they felt. Ask them what they listened to. If they listen to all of the instruments, if they listen to somebody like with a higher voice, a louder voice, so being in the middle of the roda with your eyes closed, and then you go there. That's key. Oh, nice. When you go there, when you place yourself in the middle of the roda and you listen with your eyes closed, what was your reaction? How did you feel about it? Were you able to listen to people singing or not? Like their voice was reaching you or not? So there's a lot of exercise. But obviously overcoming shyness, it's something that
it takes
in
practice.
Life. It takes practice. But the more you try, I guess, with different people in different places, you can try this with a friend, sending audios on WhatsApp. Nowadays we got this, like, okay, I'm gonna sing to my friend. I'll send different friends and listen to their opinion and say, okay, here you are, well, here you're kind of going down, try. So I guess that it comes with practice, but getting feedback from people also helps. Yeah,
for sure. Especially like people that are learning Portuguese, that they get so shy, they get so close, and they just scared to make the mistake to pronounce something like on the wrong way or enter on the wrong time, and then they are like, no, I don't really want to sing, and then they just like, oh, see, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like, you like you said, I really like what you said, that us, the teacher or instructors, and we should be the encouraging them to just be shy. Nobody's gonna judge you. we're not Justin Bieber's here and then professional singers, and just gotta do it.
Yeah.
Well, what about projecting the voice? Because that's the other thing that comes with the shyness too. Because when you shy or you don't have the probably the right technique, I think could be the right way though to project the voice, and then that comes together to what you just said, that coming in the roda and then actually having to hear who you hear, who you can reach with your voice, and that projection of the voice, and then especially having all the instruments, and the atabaque that is the loudest, and then the pandero, and then how do you project that voice once you're in there?
So this is like a very loaded question. Very, like, you're kind of asking, how do I do a backflip? Yeah. Because singing is very technical. Like, if you think about it, when you sing, you're not just singing with your mouth and your vocal cords. When you sing with your whole body. You are the musical instrument. And so everything matters and everything impacts, from what you ate to how rested you are How much did you stretch before you started singing? Did you warm up? Do you practice vocal exercises? All of these things are going to impact the quality of your voice and your ability to project. Now, I'm going to try to like give a simple, like some simple tips. I don't know that it's going to completely explain how to project your voice, but I'll tell you like some common errors that people do.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being part of this episode one more time. And thank you so much for being part of the Capoeira community. I'm very happy you made it all the way to the end. Now, make sure you listen to the next episode next week or the following week or the previous episodes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. And don't forget to reach out so we can have you on the podcast. Okay. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing journey in the Capoeira community. And I really, really hope to see you one time here in Indianapolis, or I'll see you in the Roda next time. Okay. Keep training, keep your Capoeira school, keep supporting your Capoeira school, and keep training, keep loving Capoeira, keep training, keep playing the Roda. I'll see you in the Roda next time.